Welcome, golf fans, pursuers of knowledge and the almighty dollar. This is your golf guru bringing you the 2021, the American Express, my sleepers, fades, and projections. I apologize. I usually always put my fades with my top plays, but somehow skipped over that. But I am going to get into that right out of the bat. Then get into the sleeper picks. I got about 10 of those for you. And then also the projections. All right, so real quick, just I put up there again a side note. There is the charity challenge on the Golf Channel. I believe it's probably this afternoon is live coverage, but then they will be re-airing it this evening. So again, take a look at the course, see how Casey, Finau, Mickelson, a few of the guys actually. Probably should have put Phil Mickelson as one of my fades. I will not be playing Phil. Which I don't think it's any shocker. I don't think a lot of people will be jumping on Phil. He's had some past course history, but I believe last year I think he shot like 1 under here. He's just so sporadic, and with all the water, he will be an issue. So we'll not be playing him. And then Kevin Na, it might be a little bit on tilt with Kevin Na. Could be part of the reason, but I think his price tag is like 9,200 or something ridiculous. In typical Kevin Na, is it somewhat of a course fit? It is. But after his win, typically you won't hear of him for a while. I'll be shocked if he goes back-to-back. But definitely for the price, not playing Kevin Na. Matthew Wolff, again, I think he's priced in the 9,000s, and I don't have it in front of me. But, his game, of course, he had great form at the U.S. Open and, showed a lot of life there with some T2s, could have won at the Rocket Mortgage. And then, got to his hometown and, last few tournaments we saw him, it was just a nightmare. So with having no idea where his game's at now, can he go out and, just light this course up? And, if he hits his approach shots, like I know he can, and he's got a decent putter, he could be live. But going off what we saw in the past, so maybe either he got burned out or just too much golf, I have no clue. But, when you go to play your home course and you just, I don't even know if he made the cut. He was just terrible. Can't touch him. Koepka also, I think believe in the $10,000 range. I just look at Koepka's demeanor towards these kind of tournaments. So this is the first time Koepka's ever played here. And on the PGA Tour, I think it's every 4 years in rotation, you have to finally play certain events if you have not played them. And I believe this is one of those events for Koepka. And I think he could care less. It's probably just a go out, tune up, see where he's at with the golf swing. We saw some hints of life towards the end of the year with the Masters and I believe the Houston Open. But I will not be playing Koepka for that price. And then Woodland, still just don't know where he's at with the injuries. From a price standpoint, if he goes off, great value. So you could take some risks there, but it's a risk I'm not going to take. Again, if Woodland is on point, again with approach, his putter is always hit or miss, but it's definitely got the T degree game, but just can't trust where his game at until we see it. And it's been a while since we've seen it, and what we did see was not good. So I will be fading him. And then, I wanted to do a little research for myself, and I thought I'd share this with you guys. And since we are talking sleepers, and I'll be, picking guys for you that are under the $7,500 range, hopefully projection ownership low. But what I did, and I don't have Mayakoba, the OHL. For whatever reason, I couldn't find the final results for that. But I did find some of the most recent tournaments. And then I didn't put the Tournament of Champions here because it's such a small field of like 42. But what I did pull up is like the last 5 tournaments. And, of course, the CJ Cup and the Zozo was like a 75-man field and big names. But why I pulled this up is for myself. I wanted to see where guys are finishing below the $7,500 mark and the value and the reason why we got to hit these guys right. And so if you just go through this real quick, the Sony Open, of course, just recently, you had Kevin Na at 7,500, won the tournament. You had Chris Kirk at 7,000, Brendan Steele at 7,100, Matt Jones, Nick Taylor, all below 7,500 again, that, pretty much top 10 or better. Streb won the RSM at 6,300. Tringali at 72, Wiesberger, Landry, Villajagas, who I am going to take a shot at this tournament. He will be there. Crazy with his approaches, had some decent form. So someone we'll talk about. Kyle Stanley, Kazire. You're looking at, not to go through all these, but about 50% of the guys in the top 10 are costing less than 7,500. And if you look at the Houston Open, of course you had Carlos Ortiz who won at 6,700. Straka at 7. You even had Gooch at 77. I didn't include him, but you had also Mackenzie Hughes at 7,600 in the top 10, and then you had these guys, Kazire, Long, and Wise also coming in the bottom here in a pretty tougher tournament. But all those top 3 had large fields of 150, 160 guys. And then the smaller fields, again, I wanted to see how this kind of transpired. And, if you look at the pricing, with Kokrak winning at 7,000, Henley at that time in that kind of field was at 7,100, who I think is, live for this tournament. Again, Gooch at 62. You had Griffith at 63, Smith at 68. We go over to the Zozo, where Cantlay won. You had, Palmer at 71 at the 4th. Smith, Champ, Corey Connors, Damon. All below 7,000 there. And then again, Lanto and Fratelli, and so I think it's kind of eye-opening. So, on one side we'll say, hey, with this recent tournament, I don't think there's enough guys in the 10,000s, 11,000s with Rahm pulling out that you have to go below 7,500. But then on the flip side, you need to find these guys because these guys are going to be either winning or in the top 10, especially with the American Express. This isn't the who's of tournaments. I want to say it's, spin the wheel tournament, but it's not too far off that, these are all PGA pros. They're all amazing players. It's just, is it their day to or their 4 days to go out and kick butt? So I thought you'd find that interesting. I found it interesting, and it's why we spend the time, looking at the guys below 7,500, because as we see on any tournament, and I really wanted to look at the Mayakoba. I was a little bitter that I didn't have it, but I just, for whatever reason, must have not have saved that leaderboard and information of where they were pricing wise. So, but I would have to guess it would look very similar to these other ones, where at least probably 50% under 7,500 were in the top 10. Okay, let's jump into the sleepers here. All right, so starting off, Chris Kirk, of course, I don't think it's any shocker. He is at 76. Rest of the guys should be below that number. I got 14 guys for you to talk about, but I couldn't not put Chris Kirk in there. Of course, the recent form we all know, he just almost could have won the Sony, but also had, excuse me. Now it's going to keep hitting. Okay. Hopefully that doesn't keep coming up. Okay. So of course, he's, last 5 tournaments has made the cut. If I go to tournament history, he's missed the cut here a couple times, but he had a 21th and a 56. But what I do like, and you're going to notice, is how I pretty much weeded these guys out is that this is a ball striking event course, and it's less than 22. So I kind of built this little area here over the last 24 rounds, how they've done. And so all these guys are should be above that little dotted line you see. That was kind of the first thing. Of course, there's a lot more that goes into it. So we go click on Chris Kirk. He is positive, as we just saw. He likes to putt on Bermuda. I like this stroke gain, on an increase. That's good to see over, the last, I don't know, was it 8 years? Also in here, you can look at it a different way over his last 5. But if you look at his last 20 tournaments, the guy is gaining strokes in every category. Just it's all depending on what he does with the putter. And of course, at the Sony, he gained almost 4 strokes. So that was a big difference. You can easily see at the RSM he gained strokes putting, but when he loses strokes putting, he's still making a cut. Can't really see what he did at Corrales, but at the Houston Open and Sanderson Farms. And then if I just go look at some comp courses, so if I put in the RSM, he's done very well. He won there back in 2013, had a 4th. We look at also like the RBC. We looked at this, also for the Sony Open. Pretty solid. Few missed cuts there, but a lot of makes. I also like the Players. A lot tougher field and tournament or course, but I think there's the island greens. There's a lot of water. You got to be accurate. And he's made the cut every time he's played there. That's pretty miraculous, I think. What else? what was I going to look at? Let's take a look at Sanderson Farms. And same thing, had a second there in 2016 and a miscut in 2018. So, you know, we know about what kind of things that Chris Kirk has been dealing with. He's gotten through it. I think he's coming out the other side. This guy's got a pedigree. You know, a lot of people, maybe he just got on the radar for some folks just in this last tournament. But, you know, this guy's been around and has had some success. So for the price still, you know, that he's below, you know, well, 7,600, I think it is a great value play. So he is someone that I will be in my player pool. Matt Jones, same thing. So positive on the ball striking above the line there at 7,200. You know, pretty decent history at the AMEX. If we look at what I liked probably the most was these, you know, recent form. I like the T4 at the Bermuda course on Bermuda. You know, that T11 looks good. Also, of course, the T44. And if we go into Matt Jones, he likes to putt on Bermuda. It's a positive surface, can deal with the wind. Again, his stroke gain is on the way up. That's good to see. You know, if I look at his past, you know, I don't know, 10 tournaments, you know, I'm not a huge fan of some of this red here, but, you know, he's making it up. He's still gaining total shot game. He's doing it with the putter. That's okay. We could live with that. It's, you know, how Kevin I kind of lives. And again, solid recent form. And then if I just go into some of the courses that I'm looking at, you know, the RSM, 3 out of 5 cuts. The Valero, it's done pretty well there. His best was a third. Well, that's Valspar. I apologize. Let me type in Valero to get it. Okay. So yeah, 13th in 2017, 2019 at a 30th. So pretty good there. Let's check the players. Just curious. So he's had a 17th there, but missed the cut the other 3 times. But again, way tougher field, tougher course. But I still wanted to look at it. Sanderson Farms does not like Sanderson Farms. Let's see RBC just for curiosity. Yeah, so 2 out of 3 made the cut. So yeah, I like the way Matt Jones' game is going, and again, for his price tag at 7,100, I think it's a pretty good play. Michael Thompson, you know, he's had a strong, you know, of course he's had the win. Oh geez, I don't remember what tournament, but it wasn't that long ago. It was in 2020. But I like his approach. I like his putter. He's also had some decent course history at the AMEX. And let's go take a look at Michael Thompson, why he is someone. Okay, so yeah, loves to putt on Bermuda. You know, you saw the dip here, but then, you know, of course, his stroke gain, you know, it dipped again, but it is going back up. So I like that. I don't like all this red, but, you know, he's making up a lot of it with the putter. And if you look at just the last 3 tournaments, you know, it's kind of probably where my focus was. I like what I've been seeing, you know, top 25s are better. Let's go look at some of the comp courses while we're at it. RSM, you know, some good history there. The RBC, like that a lot, 8th to 10th. So, you know, again, I think it's a good fit for this course. That's Harbor Town. Let's take a look at the players. Just curious. He made the cut in 2019. So I guess 50% out of the times he's played there. Again, tougher field, tougher course. Sanderson Farms, he had a 20th in 2015. That's quite a bit ago. And I don't know if we did RBC. Yeah, good track record at RBC. I think that's it. Did I do Valero? And a pretty good track record at the Valero. So yeah, again, so from comp courses to like putting on Bermuda and what we've seen recently, I think he's a solid play down here in this range. Of course, Andrew Landry, you know, no shocker, but you know, I try to figure out a way to kind of actually cut him out because I don't like playing guys that won here the previous year. But for 7K, projected ownership still, you know, pretty low. You know, he's got a second and a win here. And, you know, yeah, he had the cut just recently at the Sony, but also, you know, he did well at TOC and RSM. So I'm guessing that's why maybe his price tag is at 7K just because of that recent cut. But, you know, he likes Bermuda on his putting splits. You know, this I'm not a huge fan of. And of course, looking at, you know, the red here, but I do like the RSM 4th place. So we take a look at the comp courses, you know, the RSM, man, two 4th place, the RBC made the cut every time, a couple 33s, Valero, he won the Valero in 2018, which again is a great comp course, I believe. And let's see, the players made the cut both times. And lastly, we'll look at Sanderson Farms. Made the cut in 2017. So, yeah, like I said, I think he's a good play again if you're going to be down in this range. Nick Taylor. So Nick's been playing. Typically it's the putter that kills him, but you can see he's positive on ball striking, less than 7,200 yards. Good recent results. Pretty decent, past course history. Made the cut 3 out of 5 times. And if we click on Nick, what did I like about Nick Taylor? So his putting surface, but we've seen he can putt on Bermuda. If you look, it's 0.09, so it's not, not even a point. So I'm not super concerned about that. I do like that his stroke gain is on the way up, off the tee doing well. I think it looks like a lot with the putter is going to be where he, either lives. So you can see, he gained almost 6.5 strokes at the Sony. So that makes me a little concerned. But, he was still doing good tee to green. Again, at the Tournament of Champions, of course, 42 people, but a 29th. It's not terrible. Let's just pull up some of the course comps. So RSM, not the greatest. RBC, pretty good. I mean, 4 out of 5, he's made the cut. Let's see, Valero made the cut, had a couple top 20s almost there. Sanderson Farms. So he won Sanderson Farms back in 2014. I don't know if I did the players. Let's check that out. And it's had a good, course history at the players. So, I like what Nick Taylor does. He also had that when I believe that was at Pebble Beach. They talked, I think, a bit about that when he was in the hunt. And then Camilo, you guys know, I mean, this is kind of my my little side project. My passion is, I'm rooting for Camilo, especially with everything he's had with the family history. So it's great to see him playing well. He's been killing it with the approaches. And if that guy gets hot with the putter, he's very relevant, as we saw at the RSM, and which is a good course fit for him. So let us take a look at some course comp history. So as I said, it's all about putting surface for him, and it is a positive. Bermuda is positive for him. You can kind of see his stroke is, on a slow upswing there, but the approach is what I'm looking for, especially at this course. Pretty good around the green. Tee to green, last 5 tournaments, he's gaining 3.5 strokes. That's solid. It's the putter with him. If he gets that putter going, he could definitely be live, as you see when he gained over 3 strokes putting at RSM. Let's just go look. There's a deep history with him, so we just try to stay to the recent. So we just look at the last 3 RSMs, a 6 and a 2nd. That's a good fit. RBC made 3 out of the 4 cuts. The players, his last time there was 2016, so that's kind of hard to really get into there. What about Valero? He had a 10th there in 2017. Sanderson Farms. So he had a 23rd at Sanderson. I think that's kind of when I started to get on, when Camilo was kind of making his comeback. So I think it's a good fit. I think it's a great play. I'll be on it. Like I said, you're going to have to do what you want with that. But his projected ownership, you could, definitely differentiate. Vaughn Taylor, came out actually pretty hot at the Sony and then kind of fell back. But, I wasn't going to go with Vaughn. But the more I kept looking at, his stats. So, he's had a T7 here in the past. Let's take a look. Really does well, or I don't want to say well, but putting on Bermuda is better. His stroke gain is on the upswing. His last 5 tournaments, he's green across the board. Just gotta get the putter going. He barely gained at the Sony. Lost at the RSM with the putter, but did well in the other areas. And just to go see his RSM, got a pretty good track record at RSM. Let's see at RBC. I'll say it's kind of blah, 50-50 to make the cut at RBC. Valero, made the cut the last 2 times. Sanderson missed the cut the last 2 times, but then, it's had some decent history there. That's interesting. I was just looking at, gaining almost 8 strokes putting. That was, way back in 2014, but It's pretty rare he'll do something like that, but he just had that day with the putter, it looks like. So, yeah, I like Vaughn Taylor. Chesson Hadley, he's had a 29th and a 42nd. It's kind of mixed recent form. You kind of either, he's top 20 almost or misses the cut. But I like his game from the putting perspective and from the approach. Let's go look at Chesson. So, as I mentioned, Bermuda is where if he's going to do it, he's going to do it on there. Stroke gain's not bad. It's not a straight down. It's kind of flat, maybe a little going up at the end there. He had a miscut at the Mayakoba. But the other two starts there was pretty good. If we go look at RSM, pretty solid background there. The RBC had a 7th in 2018. At Valero had a 4th in 2015. That's a while back. But, again, we're just looking to see how they did it. Courses are very similar in the past. Sanderson, there you go. Miscut 3 times and almost win the thing in 2017. I think that was it. I think that kind of got all the comp courses. So, yeah. Chesson Hadley, I think, is not a bad play again. He's less than 3% owned. Brian Stuard is, got pretty decent. I mean, he's making, 3 of the 5 last cuts. I wouldn't say his history here is great, but the ball striking on this fits. Tee to green, 33. Let's go look at Brian Stuard's. So he likes the Bermuda. Where is he at? He's on the upswing on a stroke gain. Good on approach. Not bad tee to green. Let's go look at his background info. So RSM, he had a 10th there in 2019. The RBC, 5th in 2014. But you can kind of see these courses fit him. He's making the cuts on all of these. Sanderson had a 4th in 2017. A couple miscuts there, but, more – out of 5, he made the cut 3 times. Did I do the Valero? Valero, he had a 4th in 2019. And then last, let's do the Players. Best was a 17th finish and missed a cut most recently. But again, I don't really hold the Players too much. I just, more for curiosity's sake, how they did there. So Stuard is on a possible. Bryce Garnett, if you look at his tournament history, made 3 out of the 5. Nothing spectacular. But a couple, he's made 4 out of the 5 tournaments cuts. Best was in T21 at Bermuda. Approach, but, he can get super hot with the putter. I think Garnett, I've always said, Stuard and Garnett, they remind me a lot of each other. They're great for a showdown play if you're looking for that. Bermuda is positive. He is on the upswing on his stroke gain. Last 5 tournaments, nothing great again. Just putter is really what's saving him. But the Sony pretty solid except around the green. OHL, we don't have all the stats, but we know he gained a total of 4 strokes against the field. Let's go look at his splits. RSM, so had some decent history there in the past, but recently 2 missed cuts. RBC had a 17th in 2020, 11th in 2015. The Valero, it's made the cut every time, but nothing to talk about. See the Players. Cut 2 out of 3, 35th best position. And let's take a look at Sanderson. Best finish was a 9th in 2015, but missed cuts recently. So, like I said, definitely none of these guys are going to be perfect. That's why we're getting them for what we are, but you're looking for little signs of life. Lee, actually, funny enough, I looked at him for the Sony, and he went out in T19, but I didn't, just wasn't enough to go on. But with what I saw, I'm going to go with what I probably should have done last week. But, his tournament history had a 21st here last year. I like this recent form on, kind of similar courses. And if we go look at Lee, his putter is where he falters, but you can see at least the least worst surface, if you want to put it that, the best worst, is Bermuda. This kind of concerned me, but there is this little uptick here recently. I kind of skirted over this, but yeah, I'm not excited about all this. But if we kind of just go look at his past at comp courses, so I like that 5th in 2019 at RSM. The RBC, he's made, 1 out of 2. Valero, he had a 14th. I like that. If I remember correctly, I think it's these comp courses what kind of has swayed me. Sanderson, 2 out of 3. I don't know if he's played the players. No, he's not played the players. So, like I said, maybe a little more volatile, but, you know, you got to jump on these guys while they're low. And, you know, like I said, if you look at over his past, I don't know, 6 tournaments, he's made the cut out of 4. And, you know, hopefully he's found some form. Okay, Chase Seifert, again, positive on the ball striking here. Recent results, you know, is what would throw you off of Chase. Of course, he only had the only made cut was there. But he did have a T21 here. Actually, funny enough, tied Cage Lee. If we go look at Chase Seifert, you know, putting, loves POA, or has done his best on POA. Bermuda is just neutral. And also he's kind of, you know, has a downtrend there. But there is something I liked about Chase Seifert. This isn't bad for the last 5 tournaments. If you see this, you know, putter's just a hair net. You know, where he is negative is pretty slightly, but also where he's positive is pretty slightly. So he's kind of, let's go look at RSM. He had a 23rd in 2019. RBC, nothing there. Valero, nothing there. So the AMEX, we already know that, but the players, nothing there. Well, I guess he didn't have a ton. Sanderson Farms, he had a 17, so that was pretty recent. So yeah, I mean, again, I don't know if he would be my favorite sleeper, but like I said, there is some hints. Chris Baker, the birdie maker, you know, last year missed the cut one time being here, but you know, some recent form to look at. Let's go take a look. Putter, you know, again, it's not crazy, but it is not a positive surface for him. He is having a little bit of an uptick on his stroke gain. A lot of green here in the middle. That's good to see. Looks like the putter is where he needs to just have a hot putting day. Let's go look at his last hot putting day. Yeah, so when he just gained a stroke at the Wyndham, he ended up to get a 20th. I just want to scroll down. All right, let's go look at the comp courses for Chris Baker. So RSM missed a cut twice. That's not great. RBC, no, nothing there. Valero is not played. The players, not played. Sanderson, this cut. Well, again, there's some little hints, but maybe Chris Baker might not be the best out of these. But again, we're getting down there. We're at 6,100. And then Ben Martin at 6,100. Of course, he's back and forth between the Korn Ferry and the PGA, but again, at bare men, you know, less than 1% owned. He has played the AMEX quite a few times, has made a cut 3 times. And like I said, there's some decent recent results. He is positive on the ball striking when it comes to less than 7,200 yards. Bermuda is positive. He is on the upswing with a stroke gain. Like I said, we're not going to have a lot of this information because some of it's from the Korn Ferry, but let's just go look at the splits. So RSM, he's played 5 times. He's made the cut twice, missed cut recently. The RBC, he's played there 5 times. He actually had a 3rd in 2014, made the cut in 2018. Valero, he's got some decent. Let me finish spelling that out. So 2 out of 3 made cuts. Sanderson, 3 out of 4. Let's see the players. I just had, you know, I had a 4th in 2015. So you can see his game was, you know, kind of point on at around the 15, 16, and lost it. And then now is trying to make a comeback. So some older pedigree, but Benny Martin might be worth a look. I think that's it. Yep, that's it for my sleeper picks. Oh, projections. Do not let me forget that. All right, let's go into ownership projections. So I am recording this. It's almost 1 o'clock Eastern, as you can see down here, on Wednesday. So pretty up to date. All right. So of course John Ron's out. Let's see what the chalk is. So Cantlay. Looks like people are kind of not too hot on Koepka, which I can understand. M, which is a little shocking. Because he didn't do too hot and for that price, but I know I picked him. You know, I think his game will suit well here. I'm looking for guys that are just pretty accurate and just hope like heck they get good with the putter. Scheffler, just, past performance also I was on. Abraham Answer, the guy that I picked to win last week. Hopefully he wins this week. Shocked Ricky Fowler's not a little more. I think, people are the same with me on now. The price is just way too much. Russ Henley, again, a guy that I'm on. Phil, no shocker. Burns, guy that I'm on. I think he's good. Just trying to pull we'll just kind of scroll through this and see if we see Doc Redman, guy that I'm on. Sub. Either people are listening to me or we just all have kind of the same thought process. Anybody else that's kind of high down here? Nope. After that, it looks like everybody is just going to be less than 1%. I'm just going to scroll through it just in case. Yeah, no. All right, so I get you kind of an idea of where the chalk is up to at this point. Projected ownership, I mean, locks are early tomorrow morning. But yeah, trying to think if there's anybody. If we look through these guys. Where's Neesmith? I didn't notice. I'm kind of really on him. So yeah, 7.6. That's kind of my favorite play at this low 7,000 range. Matt Jones, I like him too, but you can see some other people must be seeing what I'm seeing with Neesmith. Okay, I think that's it. I just was going to give this one last looky. If there's anybody there that might be a good play at low ownership at this point. Nope, that's it. All right. Well, let's get back. We'll wrap this up. I want to thank you guys again for all you that have subscribed and that are spending the time with me, and appreciate the analysis when I'm giving you. And again, a lot what I'm doing is, as I've already mentioned, if you are, been with me for a little bit, that, I'm showing you all my analysis. I'm kind of just saying, here, this is how I'm making my sausage. So what you get out of that is, you get also some of my insights and past history and experience, but also if I'm showing you that, you get to see some things and maybe you're like, well, I don't agree with that, but I see this. That's why I like showing it. And I like the feedback that you guys have been giving me. Again, of course, if you like what you're seeing. If you dislike, tell me why. Share with anybody else that that does betting on golf or is getting into golf, betting or DFS. I think hopefully they get value from this. If you are new and this is your first time listening, would appreciate it greatly if you subscribe. Kind of building the subscriber base. I think almost like 3 or 4 per show is adding. So that's awesome. If I keep seeing that, I'll keep doing this. And thank you guys so much. All the best of luck to us. And money won, as we know, is twice as sweet as money earned. So hopefully we get some of that in our pocket and have a very profitable American Express. Excited to watch. Should be a good tournament. Take care, guys.